Good afternoon, YouTube. DutyRon back in again with another video. And today we're going to talk about George Floyd, a black man who was killed in custody, in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a difficult case to talk about because, again, I am a retired New York City police officer with 20 plus years of experience. And when I see things like this and I get messages and emails from people to take a look at it, it's something that really I can't even describe how I felt when I saw the video, and it was really, really troubling to me. Hello, Tina. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload videos. Hello, Denise. Hello, Darlene. Hey, Key Martin. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Sleeping Beauty, Cruise Boston. Good to see you. Guys, again, those of you who know me, I'm a fair shooter. I shoot straight from the hip, and I call it as I see it. Now, again, I'm going to give you a quick disclaimer. I have not looked at all the evidence, and I don't think it's all out. There's police body cam footage that nobody has seen yet, and there is the video that was shot by the pedestrian, the bystander, which shows 4 police officers, one with his knee in the back of his head. The suspect was face down and then face sideways, and he was applying pressure to the back of his neck. And 8 minutes or so later, this man, George Floyd, was pronounced dead later on at the hospital. He was unresponsive. So this video was really difficult to watch. I watched it several times just because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Again, just so you guys know, I am a New York City police officer, retired detective. I went through the police academy in 1991, so it's some 29 years ago. And we were taught, when you use force, whether it's a knee in the back or, taking somebody down, once the person is handcuffed, and I don't know if the training is different in Minneapolis, but once a person is handcuffed, the game is over. All bets are off with physical force. When you have somebody in handcuffs, now this is me speaking about my training and about how I operated, is once I took somebody into custody and I clicked those cuffs on them, there was no more force being used because there's no need to make any force. You now have your suspect in custody. So I saw this and I saw so many things that were wrong on so many different levels that I wanted to speak immediately about it. So for those of you who are friends of mine who know me well, you know that I affected quite a bit of arrests during the course of my 20 years, and not at one time was I ever found guilty of any type of force being used. I had complaints against me, a few, but they were all unsubstantiated. So at the end of the day, I'm not trying to tip my own cap here, but when I saw this video, these guys, all 4 of them. Now, the one officer who you see having his knee in George Floyd's back, the officers that were around him, at least one of them should have came to him and said, "Hey, buddy, it's over. Let's get him into the car. Let's get him in the car. He's under, we have him handcuffed," and he would have been able to, he would have lived to see another day. So I feel that all 4 that are on the scene are guilty of some different level. I don't know about, the murder. I think that the officer who had his knee in the back, this is my opinions, these are my thoughts, is definitely is guilty. But the other 3 should have told him, "Hey, that's enough. He is in cuffs." When you have him clicked up, there's been many times when people have resisted arrest or just were combative. I think there was a report that this man did not want to get in the police car, and there's a part of the video that you don't see where the struggle starts. You just see them on the sidewalk, and then the next thing that you see is with him down, and then the officer with his knee in the back. So I don't know what transpired in between that time, and the mayor of Minneapolis seems like he's going to get the body cam footage, and when that body cam footage becomes available, we may see what led up to this. But that doesn't make it right. That, in my eyes, it doesn't matter. Even if he was fighting and resisting arrest, he didn't deserve to die. So at the end of the day, I'm not afraid to say that. That's my opinion. Some people may disagree. Some people may agree with me on that. But once, as a law enforcement police officer, once you have someone in custody, meaning in handcuffs where they are detained, there's no reason to use any force. There's no reason to punch somebody. There's no reason to hit somebody. There's no reason to continue to have a knee in someone's back, on the back of their neck. If you're laying flat down and a grown man, 175, 200 pounds, has his knee in your back, you can't breathe. You heard him saying, "I can't breathe," many times in that video. It's very hard to listen. Thank you, Savvy. Thank you so much for being in here. He was struggling to survive. He was struggling to live, and he did not. So I'm all for charges. Listen, we're all entitled to. We're all innocent until proven guilty, right? So these officers are entitled. These ex-officers now are entitled to due process, right? So they're entitled to due process. We can't just immediately, so let them get arrested. I think that that's what will happen. They'll be arrested, and then they will go through that process that everybody is entitled to. Now, I'm putting my feelings and thoughts aside because I am doing a broadcast here, and I'm trying to be fair and impartial. Because again, we didn't see the body cam. I want to wait to see the body cam to make another video. But based on what I saw from that civilian's standpoint, this was wrong on every level. There's no defense to this. There's no defending it. And I ask that everybody please be respectful in the comments. I will re-review all the comments. I'm not doing this video to have anybody throw hate or shade at me. I'm doing this video because I feel that it's important that we understand what it is here. And what it is was, I saw a police officer use excessive force to the point of causing a man's death. So I think that the mayor of Minneapolis is asking for the prosecutor in that jurisdiction to press charges against those officers. And I don't think that that is outrageous. I think that that should definitely happen. And at the end of the day, folks, I know everyone is putting the comments like, hey, where was George's right? Again, I say this in every video where I see that there is a person whose life was taken by a police officer. I say this in every video. I wish that everyone would just comply and not try to even give an ounce of resistance. And I'm not saying that this man gave a lot of resistance, but it is on record that he didn't want to get in the police car, and they were asking him to get in the police car. So I'm not defending the actions. Obviously, those actions of these officers were really bad. But I just ask and I plead with everybody to tell your children and tell everybody and anybody, if police ask you to put your hands behind your back, just do it and fight it in court. Fight it out in court. Don't fight them. Don't fight a military person. If they pointed a weapon at me and said, put your hands behind your back, I'm going to do it. That's just me. And I beg everybody to please educate your children and to not fight, not try to fight, because that could mean the difference between life and death. I think when these things get escalated, there's always room for human error. And these guys, the one who had his knee in his back, was so wrong. 8 minutes is a very long time. 8 minutes is a disastrously long time. If this guy put his knee in his back, had those cuffs on him, and in 30 seconds took the knee off, he would be alive. And that's what we're looking at here. And you know, for people to go out and riot, I get that everybody is upset over this, and it has every right to be upset. But when you're rioting in the street and making fires and damaging property, and it gets nothing done. Nothing gets done when that happens, and that's just my opinion. You could beg to differ with me, and I respect that you think that it's okay, but I say this. We had these 4 officers were 100% wrong, ex-police officers in Minneapolis. The one who had his knee in his back deserves to be, I feel, at least a summary arrest, and then let the prosecutor figure it out. At the end of the day, folks, I'm telling you how I operated, and I effected close to 1,000 arrests in my time. Never once would I ever, and a retired Irish detective can tell you guys this. A retired Irish detective knows me. Once somebody was in custody, in cuffs, everything was over. Everything was over. So at the end of it all, folks, I say this. You have to go back to your training, and your training always said, be aware of restricting someone's airway if you have them in custody. If they're twisted, your arms get entwined into them. We were always thinking of personal safety of the defendant. Nobody wanted to have anybody get hurt. So at the end of the day, this is a really, really difficult situation. We have a human life lost. George Floyd and his family deserve to have justice here, and this cannot get swept under the rug. These 4 officers were fired immediately, and then I feel that there should be due process here. Meglo says, hey, DutyRon, later, better than never. Oh, I tested negative COVID virus. Good. I'm glad you tested negative. All right, guys. So that's my quick video. Everyone has sent me, I received probably about 30 different emails. 30 different emails to do a video on this. This is my video. I did it really fast. I watched what I watched. That's my 2 cents on it. Again, nobody deserves to die, whether they're being arrested for forgery or they're being arrested for domestic abuse or any type of arrest. Doesn't mean that the person needs to be killed. So again, I wish each and every one of you safety and education. Do not ever resist or fight the police. If you're being placed under arrest, go and have your day in court and fight the charges, rather than to, God forbid, get yourself hurt or injured or killed in that matter. So again, that is my advice. That's what I tell my own children. That's what I tell everybody and anybody that I come into contact with, because when you have an interaction with any type of authority, whether it's state, federal, local, anywhere you are. If I travel to Virginia or if I travel to Florida and the police there, and I don't know the police there, they stop me and tell me to put my hands up. I'm putting them up. I'm freaking putting them up. I'm not going to say, F you, let's fight. And I'm not saying that's what Mr. Floyd did here, but I'm just saying in all of these, thank you, Richard, in all of these scenarios, 9 times out of 10, a good 90% of them involve some type of resisting. And that's the unfortunate part. I wish that, we could try to educate more in regards to just compliance. I know a lot of people don't like to comply, but that's when there becomes problems. People that comply with what law enforcement are telling them, more times than not, wind up being able to talk about it and having a laugh and a joke when they get the charges dismissed or whatever the case may be. So guys, love and respect. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. God bless each and every one of you guys. Hold on a second. I got to just take care of something. Again, I will go back and review the comments after the video, but I'm not afraid to do these kind of videos because I tell it to you like it is. And the bottom line is I'm saying these guys were wrong. This one officer with the knee in the back is definitely wrong. Much love and respect from my house to yours. Like the video, share it out, subscribe, follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all one word, DutyRon. Thank you so much for coming into the live stream. Much love and respect from my house to yours. And thank you for joining, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.